The wall serves as a means of recognizing individuals and/or team contributions to the academic and athletic programs at our high school, as well as distinguished alumni who have excelled through community involvement or in the business world. In addition, in 2015, we added another category of fallen heroes to recognize those alumni who lost their life in service to our country. The Wall of Distinction honors the contributions and accomplishments of these individuals who are worthy of recognition as examples for others to emulate. This year, we will be inducting 4 amazing individuals who will become part of a very special group. Each one of the inductees have demonstrated the extraordinary qualities and accomplishments it takes to be inducted into the Wall of Distinction. I would like to thank our committee members who each year have the difficult job of selecting inductees from a very large number of candidates that we get. It's a very difficult process, and I just wanted to thank the members of our committee are Brian Robertson, Matt Shimkus, Kathy Masterson, Pat Sanders, Zach Epley, Michael Mackey, Lester Ware, Eddie West, and Kathy DeStefano. And they do a great job helping me out with the Wall of Distinction. In addition, I also would like to just thank Fowler's for the mums today, as well as Tate's Cookies. We'll have a bunch of them out there for the reception afterwards. I know you might have dessert before dinner, but make sure you take a bag or some home with you. At this time, I would like to turn it over. Actually, before we start, I just wanted to remind you the board out there, the interactive board that we have all of our Wall of Distinction inductees on, is something that can be accessed from anywhere on a laptop, your desktop. All you have to do is go to the Southampton Schools page. There's a Wall of Distinction link, and you can click on it, and you can scroll through from anywhere in the country, anywhere you have access to Wi-Fi. Also, too, we have some nomination forms in the lobby on a table. So if you think of anybody as you leave here that's deserving of consideration, I'd ask you to please take a nomination form and then fill that out and mail it back to the school. That would be great. We're always looking for more deserving candidates to consider. Also, if you have family or friends that could not make it here tonight, this ceremony is being taped and recorded and will be on the Google. If you Google Southampton Union Free School District, there's a YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch that link or send it to friends or family who were not able to make it. So at this time, I'd like to turn our program over to our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Michael Mackey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and mariners of all ages, and welcome to Southampton Public Schools' 6th Annual Wall of Distinction Induction Ceremony and Reception. Tonight, we honor 4 special individuals for their significant contributions to our community. Moreover, we once again celebrate what's been embedded on the north wall of Southampton Elementary School for nearly 9 decades, that the foundation of every state is the education of its youth. That education has for its object the formation of character. So since few things are possible through diligence and skill, let's have a go at keeping this evening's event sustainable and swift. Appropriately enough, we begin with our first inductee, a green machine himself. His presenter, a classmate and fellow inductee, Richie King. I just have to do this.
It's my honor to present John Halsey for membership in the Southampton Wall of Distinction. John and I have been friends since junior high school. In high school, John always showed a vision, a quiet leadership, a willingness to step out of the box. He was our foreign exchange student. He went to Sweden. And he housed Paulo, our exchange student from Brazil and our dear friend who recently passed. John was president of our class, where all his qualities were on display. His very first founding was the infamous Ripple Club, which was shut down after the administration realized what it was. John attended Dartmouth College, and while there he spent time working with inner city kids in Jersey City. After college, he eventually went to San Francisco and worked in land preservation and management. John's interest in land preservation came from his parents, Dr. Hugh and Emily, and family Sarah, Lillis, and Louise. They all were saddened as the Downs farm was slowly developed and took away their amazing views of open space. In 1981, my wife and I spent 5 days in San Francisco with John and Janice, and it was there that John hatched his plan to come home, start a preservation trust. He asked me then if I would be part of it. I said, let me know, even though I said to him I thought it was a little too late. Little did I know. Well, he came home and he let me know. And with Terry Sabelik and Roy Wines and Ted Sharretts and John, the trust started in Roy Wines' living room. John gives Terry and I too much credit for being founding members, but truth be known, we were his secret weapon. John has an amazing ability to bring in the right people, and soon many like-interested experts were part of the team, and before you knew it, the Peconic Land Trust flourished. Since 1983, the trust has worked diligently with landowners and community, municipalities, and partner organizations, and has protected over 12,000 acres of land, conserving more working farms on Long Island than any other private conservation organization, and securing millions of dollars from public and private sector for land protection. The trust was incorporated in 1983, and to this date, there are over 500 projects and 97 preserves created. Quail Hill Farm is an amazing example of what the trust is about. Thanks to the generous donation from Deborah Perry, Quail Hill began. It is a place for people interested in growing crops for themselves and to sell at markets. The trust continues to preserve farms and set up young farmers to get their start. Ridge Lane Gardens is another example of preservation. Many of you, I hope, have enjoyed the many educational events there. There is no end to the work of the Peconic Land Trust, whether it is simply preserving land, caring for the land, the water, educating the public, and giving young farmers a chance by buying and preserving farmland. The work continues. It is John's ability to carry out his vision with a steady leadership that brings in amazing people to carry out this vision. John's son Josh is now active in the work of the trust, and the vision continues. John also is the most amazing fundraiser. 2 years ago at the summer picnic event, John put on the table a $30 million challenge over 3 years. And I believe the trust is over halfway there as of this speaking. That is a far cry from when we first started putting in the budget the number of paper clips that he would use for that year. Without the generous donations of so many wonderful people, none of this would be possible. But it is John's work that brings us to this honor tonight. John did all this for the community, the land, the water, and the people he loves. My honor to introduce my friend, classmate in 50 years, John Halsey.
All right, see, now I have to move this up. Well, actually, I should have compared notes with Richie to begin with, because he's pretty much said it all. But that's all right, you're not spared. I'm going to go ahead and say it again, some of it anyway. So thank you so much for this honor. It was unexpected and is truly humbling. I'll try to be done by 9 p.m., okay? As a recent graduate of the class of 1968, Darren? Yeah. Okay, you got that right? I fixed it. Okay, all right, so actually I am from the great class of 1970. 2 members of whom precede me as inductees to the Wall of Distinction. The late Marvin Dozier, our great reverend, and the almost reverend Richard Wickham King. 2 great friends. I had to do it. And alumni of this school. and past members of the school board, along with Chris Bishop. I really am not sure how that happened. I'm proud to have been the president of my class during our senior year, when in many ways, we all blossomed as a diverse, eclectic collection of unique individuals. Many of us remain bound together, especially as we begin planning for our 50th reunion next year. We have long friendships, lifelong, and they're founded on our time together as classmates. Our time in school, the 60s, was defined by parties, war, assassinations, rock and roll, racial strife, drug addiction, sailing for me, life and death, wealth and poverty, and a nation divided. Notwithstanding an exceptional number of teachers who I will never forget, I learned as much outside the classroom as inside the classroom. Experiences that changed my life. I learned about the world beyond thanks to the school's engagement with the American Field Service, the opportunity to live in Sweden as an exchange student and to share my senior year with my beloved Brazilian brother and classmate, the late Paulo Cesar Assis de Araujo. I learned about racism and its many facets in the wake of Martin Luther King's murder. This thanks to Stan Luce, a teacher who had the courage and foresight to take diverse groups of students on retreats to build bridges among ourselves. I learned about listening and walking in someone else's shoes. It was here that I learned about activism, the need and will to change, and we vow to change ourselves and the community to the best of our ability. It was during this period that the Southampton Youth Association was founded, and I'm very honored to be on that board of directors. In short, my foundation was built here, at this school, in this community, by family and friends, teachers and students. My work, however, was inspired by this place. The farms, the bays, the beach, the ocean, the woods, the beauty and the history of this place are imprinted on me. I grew up surrounded by 1,000 acres of farmland on Wickapock Road. Hard to imagine that many acres. When I returned in 1980 on vacation to see family and friends, the farm next door was about to be developed. That's what Richie was referring to. This was the catalyst for me to take action and ultimately to return. There needed to be an organization here to work with landowners to protect the best of their land for future generations. There needed to be an organization to conserve the land and water that we depend on, that sustains us, and that gives us joy. So in 1983, I moved back to Southampton, and the Peconic Land Trust was born. And 3 of the 4 founding board members, well, 5 when you include Ted Sharretts, 3 of them will be on the wall from this point forward. Myself, Richie King, and Roy L. Wines Jr. A shout out to Terry Sabelic, the 4th of our original founders and a former student and of course, a retired teacher. 36 years later, the Trust has protected over 12,000 acres of working farms and natural lands that produce food and other products, woods that filter our drinking water, and wetlands that cleanse our bays. We have not accomplished this alone, but in concert with landowners, partner organizations, government, and communities. Please go to our website just to really fully appreciate the breadth and depth of our work. But all of this would not be possible without an extraordinary staff, several of whom are here tonight, Pam and Julie, dedicated board of directors, hundreds of committed volunteers, and thousands of donors. And just to be clear, The trust is a public charity that depends upon private contributions from the community to do its work. We are not funded by the Community Preservation Fund. The 2% funds are collected and distributed by the town for conservation purposes as well. The trust is bigger than me, and it has to be, in order to fulfill its mission and perpetual responsibilities. And there is much more to be done as the development pressure persists, land values appreciate, and climate change impacts our land, our island. So if you care about this place, its land, its water, its history and magic, its communities and the diversity of people herein, my work is in fact our work, yours and mine. So with the school as my foundation and the land as my inspiration, what more can I impart to those who follow, to start new endeavors or to pick up the torch? There are many ingredients to success, but these stand out in my mind. Courage and risk-taking, authenticity and honesty, listening and learning from others, collaboration and sharing, respect and tolerance of the diversity of people and opinions, patience and consistency, perseverance and determination, problem solving and pragmatism, flexibility and ingenuity, and dialogue with the goal of meeting in the middle to find the win-win. So with the foundation, inspiration, and these ingredients of success, it's my opinion that anyone can do anything. And I'm proof of that. Thanks again, everyone.
In addition to being forever on our Wall of Distinction board, John, we just have a little plaque to proudly recognize John E.H. Halsey, 2019 inductee, Southampton Wall of Distinction. Your contributions and accomplishments to the school and community will serve and provide inspiration and motivation for future Mariners.
We now leap from the Southampton High School class of 1970 to 1988. And our presenter has shown that he's adept in the past in both running a math class and the single wing offense. Ladies and gentlemen, our next presenter is Vinnie Mangano, and our next inductee is Billy Masterson.
That was certainly very impressive, our list inductee. As he said, my name is Vinnie Mangano. It's nice to be back here in Southampton, where I spent 38 years teaching and coaching the students and Mariner athletes. I retired a few years ago, and I can tell you the biggest reward any teacher or coach can receive is continuing to keep in touch with their former students and sharing in their successes in their lives. Many students are unforgettable when they leave our high school. Billy Masterson was one of those student athletes. So you can imagine how honored I feel right now to be standing here introducing one of Southampton's most accomplished alumni. Bill was always determined and passionate student athlete when he walked the halls of Southampton. He's a fierce competitor who always pushed himself and everyone around him to be their best. He was elected captain of the Mariner football team as a junior and was awarded all county honors both his junior and senior seasons. But that's not what makes him special. When I took over the football program in 1986, Billy inspired everyone on the team to play like a champion. He used to run up and down Holmes's Hill in North Sea in the summer. He's the first person I know that lifted 200 pounds bench press free weight. Once again, that's not what makes him special. He challenged everyone in the program to be the best they could be or to outwork him. No one ever did. His exploits, if you watch tape from those years, if you had the honor to watch him play on the football field, he carried our team on his back for 2 years, and he was the foundation of the football program's rise to success in future years. Billy has unquestioned integrity and character. If you haven't met his family yet, you need to do that. Most of them are here tonight. Bill Sr., he's the man who played golf and slipped a little bit. Sorry, Bill. Bill Sr. helped this young coach forming the Parents Football Booster Club. Southampton, as you know, is blessed with an extremely diverse community. Mr. Masterson made it possible to bring all aspects of this community together to support their sons as we held parent meetings every Wednesday night, right here in front of you. Bill's mom was the loudest cheerleader at every game. She cheered every player like it was her own son, while coordinating the post-game dinners for family members, teammates, cheerleaders, and anybody who wanted to join us to become part of the family. Now, to say Billy was an angel in high school would be exaggerating a little bit. He has a tremendous sense of humor, and you can make any group of students or faculty laugh just by his actions, just by being Billy. It was his older sister, Kathy, who was probably working tonight. I don't think I saw her come in yet. And his twin sister, Ellie, who is here, came all the way up from Maryland. Their job was to ensure Billy didn't get in too much trouble while he was in school. Sometimes it was a full-time job. Sometimes Billy could be loud and rough around the edges. He still is a little bit, but he has a heart of gold, and he will give you the shirt off his back. His senior year, he worked extremely hard, both in and out of the classroom, in order to qualify for a football scholarship. When Hofstra University offered him one, he had fulfilled yet another milestone. He wasn't done though. Little did anyone know he had passion for acting. I certainly did, because I always saw him as a football player. So when he landed the lead in the school play, You Can't Take It With You, everyone in the school had to come to this auditorium and see him perform on that stage. We all did, and he knocked our socks off. We've kept in touch all these years since Bill graduated in '88. I'm never surprised by his accomplishments because he's always so determined and is so passionate. But I must say, when I saw he received an Oscar this year, I was blown away. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Billy Masterson.
Hey, well, thank you all for coming. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you tonight. When I asked Darren how much time we'd have, he said, don't worry about it, just take as much time as you need. Well, little does he know, and he knows my sister Kathy, but we're a little bit different in this. Well, I guess we're not that much different. We both love a microphone and both love people that listen to us. So thank you all for coming. Thank you to the district, the administration, Southampton High School. Thank you, Darren, and the committee for selecting me. Congratulations to my fellow Wall classmates, and a huge hats off to all the accomplishments and all the contributions you've made to our beautiful community. I'm certainly humbled in the presence of the individuals with accolades such as served on the school board for more than 20 years, saved acres and thousands of acres of our precious farmland and waterfront properties. Then, 50 years dedicated to our students of our community. I was very humbled to be part of this, and I thank you guys for actually all the things that you've done for our community. The stage holds a lot of memories for me. This auditorium, I just walked through the high school. I stopped at the football field today and just stopped and thought for a bit. Thought about all the amazing times that I had, thought about all the dances and the games and the fights and the love that I received from teachers and students and family. I recounted the last time I walked off the field. I recounted the last time I walked across the stage as lead in the play. And I also recounted the time that I addressed our community and our families in my class of 1988 as the president. And I said to them as I left, find that thing in life that makes you feel complete. It will be that defines your true happiness and success. Success defined by dictionary.com is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. But is it really just that? Is success only based on you, your own accomplishments? While awards and accolades are often given to individuals, maybe they're just a focal point and a product of amazing support, teamwork, and love from those around us. Success, while individual in its true definition, is really a combination and a result in your team. The team on the fields, in the classrooms, on your productions, in the boardrooms, your partnerships, and most importantly, in our lives. I've worked for the past 25 years with some really amazing, talented people at some great companies. My early days in media and advertising to my later days in entertainment. I've worked with some tremendously creative folks. Some of the biggest stars in Hollywood, from Seth MacFarlane, Jennifer Lopez, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. And you know what? I've accomplished a lot and some amazing things that I'm very proud of. I've found various degrees of success in the things that I've done, but I've also had a lot of failures. And I've really tasted the bitter taste of failure. And I have to say, I don't like it. I never have. I've always been very competitive. And I think it actually helped drive me along the way. Because along the way, it is hard, really hard. I think LeBron said it best when he said to us one time, success isn't owned, success is leased, and the rent's due every single day. My thought is to stay focused, stay focused on the prize, and good things will happen. Stay dedicated to the team, your vision, and success is inevitable. When it does finally cross your plate, and it will, take the time to enjoy it, embrace it, figure it out, learn it, and share it with others. When I say share it with others, because they are the reason why we are all successful. Share it with them, acknowledge them. These are the folks that help you achieve this win. After all, if you can't celebrate with the ones around you and your teammates and the ones you love, what would be the sense of celebrating at all? I'd like to share a quick story about a celebration that we had recently. And Coach, thanks for telling everyone about the Oscar, because it really was truly an amazing experience. My wife and I flew out to LA, and as we prepared for the Academy Awards, we were getting ready in our hotel room, and I was putting on my tux, and well, I started to laugh. Partly because I couldn't believe that we were actually going to the Oscars. And she said to me, hey, so what's the matter? I go, just a kid from Southampton with a dream and dedication to what he's doing, and now we're here. And the day was a special day and filled with everything that you've always seen on TV, with red carpets and cameras and celebrities and stars and interviews. It was the longest hour and a half of my life, walking the red carpet, waiting and waiting and waiting for our category to come. And finally it did. And when you say that your life flashes before your eyes and the work that you've done for all those years finally does come to fruition, well, it did. And they called out our name, and we were lucky enough to win. And aside from my business partner jumping on my back and the people around us celebrating because they knew what we had won, my phone continued to explode from my family and my friends who were all celebrating in the win, because it was about them as much as it was about me. We went out that night, we had a great time, and we went to parties, and we went to Elton John's party, and we had an amazing time, and we danced, and we drank, and we celebrated. I got home on that Monday, and a friend of mine said, how were the parties? Tell me about it. What happened? What did you see? And I said, I don't really remember. And the reason I didn't remember is because I was so focused on the people that meant so much to me. Nothing else really mattered. It didn't matter the way, it just mattered that they were all around. That was a really special moment and something that I'll always keep with me for the rest of my life. There's an African proverb that says, it takes a village. I couldn't buy into that more. Thanks to my family, my business partner, my team, my village, and all the people in that village that have helped me and pushed me along the way. I want to do a quick shout out to my beautiful nieces who are busy on Fridays, but they came to see their Uncle Billy. So thank you for Hayden and Devin Gilmartin for being here. It's Friday and they made room in their schedule, so I couldn't be happier. Also thanks for my mother-in-law to be here. Well, not German, but she's taken me under her wing and treated me as if I was her own son. I'd like to thank my mom and dad, for without them, I wouldn't be here, obviously. But they instilled in me a work ethic and never to take mediocrity as the answer. Thank for all the sacrifices they made, and I am who I am because of them. Then there's Coach Vinny Mangano. Thank you so much. You're the one that put me on my way when I was here. You're the one that actually showed me the path. You're a great mentor, a great coach, a great math teacher as well. And although you finished up over there in West Hampton, you're still always going to be a Mariner to me. Thanks to my business partner, also an Oscar and Emmy Award-winning Dan Goodman, who made his trek all the way out here to be with me. I appreciate you, buddy. Then there's my two best friends, my two sisters, my everything, both of them. They've done so much for me in my life. First, my sister Kathy, for whom I owe gratitude for actually putting me up for this honor. I'm very, very happy and thank you so much. She's also a graduate from 1987, and she's the AD at West Hampton Beach. Thank you, Kath. I know you have my back, and I have yours. To my twin sister, who we call each other .5, who I've been with since conception. She reminds me over and over. She's someone who was always brightening up a room. She's treated me with nothing but biggest respect I could ever ask for. She's always been the one to push me. She's also pushed me to be the most competitive person that I am today. But she's also treated me and made me think about everything and how lucky we always are. Finally, my wife, Christina, who has tolerated me, put up with me for 25 years. Thanks for always pushing me to be my best and always having my back. She wrote something for me probably about 5 or 6 years ago that I keep on my desktop. And it always reminds me that I'm never alone. She wrote me a poem. It's called I Got You. When you're flying without a net and you feel yourself begin to slip, hold on tight. I got you. When everyone is blind to your struggles, they only see their own. Keep looking forward. I got you. When your life sometimes gets you down and you're not sure where to turn, remember you're not alone. I got you. I'm still learning and still chasing my own ever-changing and defining levels of success. And I hope you guys are all doing the same. While I accept this honor, I appreciate it, and I'm blessed for it, I accept this on behalf of my friends, my family, my village, who have always been there for me. And finally, to all of you, remember, find that thing that makes you feel complete and you found your own success. Thank you.
William, tremendous story, tremendous accomplishments. I'm sure this plaque will go right up there next to your Oscar. But we proudly recognize William H. Maston III, 2019 inductee, Southampton Wall of Distinction. Your contributions and accomplishments to the school and community will serve to provide inspiration and motivation for future Mariners. Thank you so much.
Our next inductee attended a school which was newly built, state-of-the-art, over a century ago. Yet even though he's an SHS graduate of 1912, his impact is still felt upon our community today. His presenters are his granddaughter, Doreen Corwith Eckert, and Sean Dennedy from the Rotary Club. Please step up, folks. Our inductee is James Carlton Corwith, SHS 1912.
Thank you for being here tonight. I'm Doreen, and I'm the youngest of 16 grandchildren of James Carlton Corwith and his wife Hazel Howland Corwith. A handful of his children, or grandchildren and great-grandchildren are here as well tonight. I got elected to come up here. Born in Watermill, New York in 1895, James Carlton Corwith was a leader in agriculture and civic affairs in Watermill, Southampton, and New York State for over 50 years. Known most of his life as Carlton, or for some reason simply as Pete, he was the 8th generation of Corwiths born in Southampton. His father, James H. Corwith, went into farming after being postmaster and operating a general store in Watermill, which is now Suki-Zuki. Carlton lived on the family farm until his death in 1966. His education began at the Watermill School in 1900. After grade school, he moved to the Southampton public school system, where he continued in the building that's now the Southampton Town Hall. And he graduated in 1912. And then he went to Cornell University, where he became president of the agricultural student body, and he graduated in 1916 with a BS in agricultural science. While attending college, he joined the varsity cross-country team, and he received an award his senior year for the most improved athlete. In 1916, some of the athletes had hoped to go to the Olympics in Berlin. He was one of them, but sadly the games were canceled due to World War I. After college, Carlton entered into partnership with his father to form J.H. and J.C. Corwith Farms. He also became a family man. In 1919, he met Southampton High School home economics teacher Hazel Howland, who came from northern New York. It took a few years to woo Hazel, our grandmother, because she had worked really hard to become a school teacher and she loved it. But in those days, to marry meant to give up work. But she eventually did. So they wed in 1921, and together they raised a family of 4 children, 2 daughters, Virginia Corwith Staley Strachan, who lives in Arizona, just turned 97, I believe, Barbara Corwith Burnett, and 2 sons, Richard and Paul, my father, who's in Florida, couldn't make it tonight. Education was so important to both of them, all of their children graduated from Cornell or Syracuse University, and as did many of their grandchildren and some of their great-grandchildren. Hazel, by the way, made as much an impact on our family. Both my father and eldest cousin Sharon have written books about her. In later years, his 2 sons, Richard, also known as Pete, and Paul, took over as Corwith Farms, raising potatoes, fruit, and poultry for eggs. Corwith Farms is currently managed by his great-grandson, Richie Corwith, who's here tonight. Today, some of his grandchildren, several great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren reside in the family homestead in the Southampton area and go to this school still. His leadership abilities were recognized soon after his return to the family farm, and for the rest of his life, he devoted time and energy to many, many organizations. And here's the long list. Bear with me. First, in 1932, he was elected to the Southampton School Board, and he served for over 2 decades. In 1948, he was elected school board president. Even after his children's graduation, he stayed on to help with the transition from Superintendent Harold Sabin's long tenure to the installation of the new school superintendent, Bill Jones. As a side, his son Paul and his grandson David also have served on the school board here. So he had this legacy and it keeps going. Carlton's commitment to education led to being elected by the New York State Legislature in 1959 as a member of the State Board of Regents, which advised the Director of Education of New York State. He was also a member and once the president of the New York State Council on Rural Education. And then locally, he was the treasurer and president of the Southampton Hospital Association, founder and first president of Southampton Rotary, master of the Southampton Grange, one of the original investors in the Southampton Golf Club. He was also a member of the Suffolk County Board of Health and an elder at the First Presbyterian Church in Southampton. His commitment to agriculture is shown in his many ties to various state and regional organizations as well. He was vice president of the New York Farm Bureau, chairman on the New York State Conference Board of Farm Organizations, president of the Suffolk County Farm and Home Bureau. Statewide, he was a board member of PNC Food Markets based in Syracuse. In 1948, he was elected director of the Farm Credit Administration. And he was honored by 2 different governors. Governor Herbert Lehman in 1937 gave him an American Agriculturalist Award, and Governor Thomas E. Dewey in 1945 appointed him to the Temporary State Agricultural Commission. For 30 years, Carlton was active in the Grange League Federation, the GLF. It's a business founded in Ithaca, New York, run by farmers for their benefit, and he served for 10 years as their leader. Now, do you know what organization it merged with and became? A few farmers in them. Yeah, thank you. In 1964, the Cooperative GLF Exchange and the Eastern States Farmers Exchange merged to form Agway, an agricultural supply and marketing cooperative that covered 13 states from Maryland to Maine to Eastern Ohio. And of course, he was their first chairman in 1965. Now, how did he get around from way out here to upstate, to Syracuse and Ithaca and Albany? especially since Carlton, the college cross-country runner, lost his right leg in a tractor accident when he was 35 years old, after which it was really hard for him to drive a car. So one way was through the GLF organization, who put money up into Robinson Airlines in Ithaca. It expanded and became Mohawk Airlines, which covered the whole Northeast. And somehow there was a connection. He was able to fly with them from East Hampton. That airline later became Allegheny, and then US Air, which is now part of American Airlines. And my brother, his grandson, flies for them and has for about 20 years, I believe. So the other way he got around, for a few years anyway, was to get our cousin Greg to drive him. One time all the way to Albany. Greg was 14. Grandpa was in the doghouse with Greg's dad for quite a while after that. At age 71, he passed over on December 7th, 1966, in Southampton Hospital, a hospital where he had served as president until shortly before his death. His lifetime commitment to education is obvious. Clearly, he valued education and worked throughout his life to help steer the local and statewide public schools. We are honored as his family to have his rich legacy of community involvement and business world achievements recognized and preserved on the Wall of Distinction. Thank you very much.
My name is Sean Benany with the Rotary here in Southampton. Yesterday I was asked if I were available to speak on behalf of Clayton Corwith. And I had mentioned, well, I know Corwith. Of course, such a landmark name like Halsey and some other folks in town, I was thinking maybe it's a possibility that he might be an uncle or something like that nature. So last night when I came home, I Googled James Clayton Corwith. It said he was born in 1895. I'm saying, well, God, even if I didn't know a Corwith, the guy's 124 years old. It's a pleasure to be here to say a few things about Mr. Corwith. I've known David and Vivian for probably about 25 years. His accomplishments, for anyone that can start organizations like he has, it's truly a man with ambition, vision, tolerance, patience, so many different qualities. I'm a member of Rotary and I've been a member for about 3 years. They now have about 60 active members, 66 active members. We have one of the more successful clubs on Long Island. And every week we meet with approximately 40 people for lunch at Union Cantina, formerly the Public House. I can't say enough about the work that the Rotary Club does, that he started as founding father and president. They provide scholarships for high school students. They provide monies for local charities. And more recently, Tom and I had gone to a trip to Cambodia, where we were able to raise with other Rotarians $267,000 for latrines, water purification systems, oxen, a variety of other things. That's worth millions of dollars in terms of what can be purchased there. This year also, because of Rotary being here in Southampton, we're going to Nepal. We're going to go to Kathmandu. About 3 years ago, 23,000 people died in an earthquake, and it's more than triple or 4 times that amount that are now homeless, ages anywhere from about 6 to 70. So this would not ever be able to happen unless Rotary was started here. That's one of the biggest kudos I can give to him because I'm part of that. The only other thing I can mention, and with all the other honorees, and Bill, you're in the Emmys, and I'm sorry, the Oscars. I'm in the Emmys because I was in television broadcast. So we share a common wall in 2 different veins. John Halsey, the land we see out here that's not developed, we all must appreciate the value of that. One other thing I want to mention about the Southampton Hospital Association. Look at what we have now. We have one of the best facilities in the world. We have Stony Brook behind us. We just built a cancer center. We're about to, I should say the hospital is about to acquire the land behind the parking lot in East Hampton, and that baseball field where the artists play will soon become an adjunct part of this hospital. So if someone were injured in Montauk, whatever, they'd be able to go there. So these are the only two things I can comment on. The rest is out of my purview because I grew up in the city, but I do know Rotary well, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and I thank him for that honor. This is Tom Gouldy. He is a former president of Rotary.
I don't know what you want me to say. I think you've said it all. So, but I'm honored to be a part of the club and having been a past president, which he started, and I kind of wonder what it was like in 1946, right after the war, and they started it, and what it's done for Southampton. It's amazing. And as Sean said, we were in Cambodia and really saw people with nothing. And I was fortunate enough to meet some people from Nepal, and we're going to start something there. Hopefully this will go on continuously, but it all starts with something like starting the club in 1946. And we'll let you know how it went. Thank you.
I'd just like to present Doreen with a plaque on behalf of her grandfather, James Carlton Corwith, 2019 inductee into the Wall of Distinction. His contributions and accomplishments will serve to provide inspiration and motivation for future mayors. Your grandfather was an amazing man.
My wife Patty and I have 5 children that represent the Southampton High School classes of 1994, 97, 98, 99, and 2010. Each one of them has fond memories of the warmth, the presence of our next inductee. Introducing Ms. Jackie Lamb is Soraka and Thelma Lee. So step up and let's hear about Ms. Lamb, who is present for every one of my children's significant Southampton Public School events and recorded most of them.
Jackie, you got me, girl. Jackie and I have been friends for so many, many years. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. She has helped me with my children, been by my side, saw my granddaughter when she was born, took me to the hospital, and guess who slid down the wall? Me. But she's worth everything to everybody. My children love her to death. They talk about her and what she did to help them on their way. My grandchildren do the same. She is a diamond in the rough. And what she does for this school is amazing. From field hockey, tennis, filming everything, doing everything. Every time you see Jackie, she's like a little bird flying around, doing her thing. In Southampton, you do have a diamond in the rough. She gives her heart to everybody. She never argues. She may mumble, but she does what she needs to do. And when she goes, I'm going to miss her because she is my true loving friend. And Jackie, everybody should know how beautiful you are.
Thank you, Thelma. My name is Tim Frazier.
I'm the principal at Southampton Intermediate School. Jackie Lamb, I've known her for 20 years, over 50 years in this district. Jackie came from the South. I don't know if a lot of people know that, and so did I. So we have that little commonality, but I came as a young administrator here from the South, kind of high on my heels, kind of egocentric, full of spit and vinegar. And Mrs. Lamb helped me be a better person, be a better administrator, be a better father, be a better husband. She did that by always being present every day. The students, to her children, thousands of them. You can't count how many students she's made a difference in. You see a couple pictures of students there. That's just a small percentage of the students in this district that she's made a difference in their life because she was always and has always been there. Jackie, I have to tell you, what you've done for me is help me to be present every day to the students in our school. You, out of all the teachers, out of all administrators, out of all the parents that I've worked with, you, every day watching you and the way you interact with our students, the way you show your kindness, your interest, the way you help them through difficult situations, and you're always there. You're always present. There have been many nights when Miss Lamb would be walking home from the intermediate school up to Hill Street. She'd be walking to school and she'd be walking back to her home. Many nights I was able to give Jackie a ride home after school board meetings or community events. She never asked. She's always been present. We've heard a lot about individuals tonight in doing a variety of different things in a variety of different places. Some amazing things. What Ms. Lamb has done is changed the culture of this community without going anywhere, except being right here and being present every day to the needs of the students in this district. But more than anything else, I'm here tonight because, Jackie, you have helped me change and be a better person. And I know you're getting ready to retire, but you always know you have a place at Southampton Intermediate School. Ms. Lamb.
Okay, you're not looking that way, it's too bright. Okay, all right. Well, it's trying to walk slow. Most people don't do it, so I'm the first one to do it. So I'm gonna stand up here and say a little something. Okay. First of all, I want to let you know that 50 years ago, I came up here for a summer vacation. Okay, this has been the longest vacation of my life. I wasn't planning to stay here. I was planning to go home and I was thinking of entering the military or do something different. But God had another plan for me. And I was thinking the other day that his plan started when I was in 3rd grade. And it just came to me. When I was in 3rd grade, in school, there was no special school for children, special needs children. and they were in the classroom with me, with us. My teacher gave me the responsibility of helping that child that had special needs. She saw potential in me that I never thought that I would be doing things that I do now. And because she saw that in me and gave me that responsibility every day, I did it, and that helped me to be who I am today. So I want to thank Mrs. Riddick for seeing something in me that I would never dream of seeing in myself. And that's the beginning of my life, the change. Muhammad Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in this world. Well, the change I wanted to see in this world was kindness. I still want to see it. Love, I still want to see that. Patience, I still want to see that. Joy, I still want to see that. And God has blessed me to see it every day in some child. Some child give me a smile, some child give me some brother something, brother hug or handshake or something. I told them I'm not a brother, I'm a sister. They just thought that was funny. But I've been in the intermediate school. I started in pre-K. I skipped kindergarten through 4th grade, and I've been in 5 through 8 for all these 50 years. It's amazing that I consider this night my graduation night because I'm getting the plaque for graduating from Southampton Public School System. I don't have much to say, but one of my goals for all the years that I've been here was to know, not one child to go through the intermediate school and I not know their name. Because it's something, when I went to school, a lot of people didn't know my name because I wouldn't talk to them. I wouldn't say a word. I had already made up my mind. I wasn't going to get in trouble with the teachers. I wasn't going to get in trouble with the kids. So I wasn't going to talk to anybody. And so a lot of people didn't know my name because of the quietness that I was. And so I made up my mind that I would know the name of every child that went through every year that went through Southampton Public School System. And even now, I see some. I remember their last name, and I don't remember the first. It comes to me later. Or I remember the first name, and don't worry about the last name. Kids ask me, how do you know my name? I speak, but how do you know my name? And I say to them, just because you are. Just because you are. You're a human being. I'm a human being, and I should know your name. Every day I see you, whether I see you every day or not, I should know your name. And if I don't know your name, I will ask. Because some days that may put a smile on somebody's face. Some day that may make someone think about life is worth living. Someday, we don't know. Our kids go through so much stuff. There's so much stuff in front of them all the time. And it hurts me. It hurts me that so much stuff is placed in front of them and it's not good. So we have to be the examples. And I keep saying this. I keep telling us. I keep saying this. We have to be the examples of the good in this world. And we're not the examples. We're not doing our job. Because we have good examples. Listen to everything we heard tonight. all those that's been inducted, all those that's been here. Somebody helped us along the way. Somebody knew our names. Somebody found out our names. And here we are, standing, sitting, being here just because somebody else knew who we were. So we have to do the same for these, our children, every one of them. They are our greatest resource. They are the greatest people in this world. And if we don't do right beginning now, if you have not started now, if you have people undoing it, we got to. We don't have a choice. It's got to. It's got to happen. It's got to be. And we better get working. We better get busy. I did not come up here to say all of this, but they're in my heart. When the change I want to see, I want to see us get busy doing right by our children. He says, I have thousands. I say I have millions and billions of children. Because every child is my responsibility, no matter whether they just walk past me, walk in front of me, walk behind me, on the side of the road. I don't care. Every child is our responsibility. Just like we were theirs. They paved the way, we gotta pave the way. We gotta give good. We got to. Our lives depend on it. But most important, theirs do. Here I am, I'm taking my seat. One day I'm going to leave this place. I want somebody to reach out and know somebody else's name and make a difference. Thank you.
Jackie, your passion, obviously for students, is amazing. I see you all the time at all the games. Most recently, she volunteered to take a bus out to Montauk for junior high field hockey. She's been at our wellness committees, advocating always for students to have more time to eat lunch and all these great things. And you are definitely the biggest advocate for the thousands of kids you've impacted. So just like to present you the plaque, as well as being on the wall. Again, just being inducted to the Wall of Distinction, and your contributions and accomplishments will serve as provide inspiration and motivation. Thank you. Before I turn it over to Michael to close everything, please remember just have some refreshments outside. Also, if we could get the 4 inductees just a picture. I know it's not the red carpet, William, but we have a little backdrop out there. Maybe we could just get a couple of photo ops with our inductees. And I thank you all for coming. Michael?
Thank you all for coming. Remember each other's names, and remember these names: John V.H. Halsey, William H. Billy Masterson III, James Carlton Corwith, and Ms. Jackie Lamb. Thank you all for being here tonight.